Let's do thrifting. So first, those of you who've been following me on Instagram know that I'm a big fan of thrifting, and there are a few things that I've been thrifting very aggressively. The first one is vintage golf, and the second one is coffee drippers, of course, drippers and kettles. And I came across some really cool stuff over the last couple of weeks. The first one is this, and this is a Kalita Stainless. It's called the Kalita Stainless, and this is the 1.2 liter kettle. Now I have the 750 version of this, and if you've seen me review a kettle, I have all sorts of thoughts about the kettle. If you haven't seen our kettle reviews, our pour over kettle reviews, I'm very particular with my pour over kettles, and this kettle I think has the perfect balance in terms of the shape, the nozzle shape. It's stainless steel. The handle, it works on an induction cooker. The problem with this one is that there was no cover, but I saw it in the thrift shop in the Japan surplus, just walking through that ceramic section, and they had this, and I asked how much it was, and they sold it to me for 300 pesos. Without the cover, it's still definitely worth 300 pesos. It is completely unused and still in perfect condition. I sterilized it, and we're going to be using this for cuppings, but it's something to keep an eye out for, because this is retail, I think, around 5,000 pesos. This is a really good kettle for getting a lot of hot water out at once into a bunch of cups. You can do 5-6 cups from this one kettle. So that's the first pickup, and to match it, I found in the same area, these actually all came from different Japan surpluses, but this one was in the same area. I found this on the floor. This is a Kalita 102 dripper. If you ask me, the OG line dripper. There are older ones, and I'll show you one such older one in a bit, and you can see very iconic, those ribs in there. Now I brought out one of our standard Kalita 102s, which they've actually revised the design over the years, and if you want to do a comparison video, let me know in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram to let me know if you want to know what the differences are between the old Kalita 102 drippers and the new one, because this latest one, you know, the finish is a little bit better, but there are significant differences. I don't know if you can tell, but they're actually different heights. They've adjusted the height over the years, and they've actually adjusted the circumference as well. The new one is bigger, the ribs are a different shape, and you can see also the consistency of how well they're able to finish their ceramics has grown leaps and bounds over the decades. It's always nice to see something like this, because if you're a fan of vintage and you're a fan of coffee, it's always nice to have the vintage coffee stuff as well. Which brings us to our next one. I found this in a Japan surplus in Bulacan while we were doing that project on the basketball court with Jarek. And this is the Melita porcelain filter 1x1, and I found it exactly like this with the classic vintage box. So it really looks like something that came right out of the 70s. Just a little box tear over here, but other than that, it was exactly like this. And when I opened up the box, it actually had the scoop inside. So I think that this might have gotten decommissioned from a store shelf, or someone didn't buy it because of that tear, and it just ended up in a surplus somehow. Packed, never used, Melita 1x1 pour over device. And this is one of my favorite sizes for pour overs, although I do prefer the smaller version of the Kalita, which is a Kalita 101 to this. But it was so hard to beat the price. I picked this up for 100 pesos, which is $2, kind of insane. And it's a nice addition to the collection. One hole dripper, so it manages the flow rate really well, and you end up with a good bed level, a very controllable bed level for your brewer. So that was a really great pickup, also from the Japan surpluses, and really happy to have those here. If you ever find yourself in Honeycomb, you want to try one of these out, just let us know. So yeah, basically between this one, which was this one was 50 pesos or $1. Then you got the $2 for 100. That's 100 pesos. So that's 150 pesos, and the kettle was 300 pesos. So we got all of these for 450 bucks. That's kind of mad. That's kind of awesome. So yeah, always good to keep your eye out for these great thrifting pickups. All right, so I'm gonna put these to the side and we're gonna open up some new stuff now. All right, so I just wanted to quickly open up the Origami Dripper. We have some new ones, some new colors that came in recently, and we had to pick them up. This is, what is the name of this? It just says blue. So this is the Origami S. Honestly, I think that the S is the only brewer that you need. There are bigger ones, but we go all the way up to like 50, 60 gram brews sometimes with this if you're using the right grind size. The reason I want to show this is that one, this blue is very nice, and the way that the fading on the glaze works over here where the ridges are, it just goes really nicely on the blue. And then this one is really new because, or not really new, but this is like a 2021 edition where it has a matte finish. So this is the gray and the matte finish, and you can see it's kind of like a green gray color. Big fans of the Origami here in Honeycomb. And as part of that event that I hosted, I emceed over the weekend, we had the inaugural Origami Cup, which is very much kind of like an AeroPress championship throwdown, where two brewers go in and judges choose who made the better brew, and then it's elimination style. Unfortunately, we got 86th. We got kicked out of WolfX World Food Expo because we went over schedule. A lot of people joined, and we were forced to end the event during the quarterfinals. So we spoke with the competitors, and to fix that, the organizer, which is El Capitan Coffee, they have agreed to, or they have organized, I should say, to move the finals events, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final event to here at Honeycomb this coming Saturday. We're still talking about brewing devices, so let's look at this. This came in from our friends over at Kinto. They have a Lazada last mall page, and as you can see, it's still wrapped in the plastic. I haven't seen what's inside, and there's a label here on the side that says Al Fresco by Kinto. So the first thing that you have is some filters. These are cone style filters, commonly known as V60 filters, but they're like right angle filters. So this is my first time to see any filters coming from Kinto, so that's interesting. There's a dripper. Wow, this is really interesting. What is this made of? This feels like it's plastic. It's like, yeah, it's a plastic. It says here Al Fresco by Kinto. That's a sticker. And it's a cone dripper with ribs and a very big hole over here on the end. So for perspective, and we're lucky we have the Origami here, you can see like the difference in hole size. And the Origami's got the ridges, and this one is just round, very similar to the Kono, which has some small ribs, but not quite as aggressive as the ribs here. So that's super interesting. What else is in here? I imagine there's more in there. Okay, so there's also a carafe, and it feels like the carafe is also made out of plastic. So they fit together like this, and yeah, you do your pour over through there. This is really nice. I'm really interested to see how this will perform. It's very light. I get why they wanted to use this Al Fresco name. It's kind of like a light version of what else Kinto does. If you know Kinto's other brewers, it's like borosilicate glass, surgical stainless steel, and now they've come out with this. This looks like more cold brewers from Kinto. Oh, nice. So that is glass. So this is very similar to the cold brewer that we already reviewed. Unlike that other one, which you could lie down on its side, this one looks like it has to be in your refrigerator upright, and then you have this stopper with the built-in pod filter there. So if you don't know how to use one of these videos, we do have a video on our YouTube page on how to use the other version that Kinto has of this. This one is the white version. Thank you to Kinto for sending these over. They're a very cost-effective pickup, and the quality is definitely there.